Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Well, in these days between Christmas and New Year, I'm going to cover some ways of speaking better. And we're going to begin today by talking about joining your words together. I want you to take a moment just to review how many spaces you leave between your words. For example, hello, my name is Joseph and I am an English teacher. Now, that sounds grammatically correct, but the presentation of it really isn't. Let's compare that to something with no spaces. Hello, my name is Joseph and I'm an English teacher. Now let's use that same sentence again when I don't know what to say, because many of you will be saying, oh, but I can't create sentences quickly. That's fine. You can use a filler. A filler is a word or a phrase you can use to avoid silence. It can sound like, let me think about that for a moment. Okay, so let's try that. Well, my name is Joseph, and let me think. Yes, I'm an English teacher. It's much better to do that than leave spaces. Now, I want you to take your English book, whatever one you're reading, hopefully there is one, and I want you to try to read it without spaces. Forget about the meaning for a moment. Just take away the spaces and stretch some of the words. It doesn't matter if you pronounce them correctly or not, just push them out. Okay? So let's imagine it's Harry Potter in the mountains or something like this, Big deep breath. Just say the words without leaving spaces. Now, at first, it will be really uncomfortable to try to do that. But after you've done it once or twice, you'll see that speaking faster, although it makes you uncomfortable, is the best way to communicate. All right? Let's just talk about that again for a moment, a little recap. So, imagine you and I are having a conversation, or you're out with your friends, okay? And you hear things like this. Can we go to the zoo today? My daughter would really like that. Grammatically, it's fine, but I'm not really hearing the emotion. So let's take away those spaces. Would it be okay if we went to the zoo today because my daughter would really like that? You can hear there that there's a much stronger and better empathy. You can read what the person's trying to say. It somehow is more than words. You can actually hear the expression. It's the same with music. If you take away the melody and you give someone musical lyrics, then you're not really giving them very much except a few dry words. For example, let's think of the Elton John song Sacrifice. I'm not going to sing it, okay? But if you just give someone the words, cold, cold heart, hard done by you, it means nothing, nothing. You need the melody to get the meaning, and those words also need to be joined together in that melody. I'm going to be giving you little tips every day between Christmas and New Year about how to speak better. Okay, so we'll do intonation or melody on another day. But today, I just want you to think about how many spaces are between your words, because I think you'll be very surprised. Just record yourself, or begin to notice on TV, for example, on the British news about how we speak. You're not going to find any silences there. The words are going to be joined up in the way that I'm speaking now. So that's just a little tip for today. Just make sure that you're really hearing, because if you take away the spaces, it sounds much more fluent and much nicer. There we are. By the way, speaking of taking things away and bringing things in, I see that early next year we're going to be able to buy a pint of wine. Now, as you know, here in the UK, if you go to a pub, you don't ask for a litre of beer. They'll probably look at you strangely. You'd be asking for a pint of beer. That's the correct way to ask. And now, after Brexit, the government is allowing us to buy a pint of wine. Now, for me, it just sounds ridiculous. I mean, a glass of wine is something to enjoy, something nice in your hand. But a pint of wine? It sounds very, somehow just wrong, doesn't it? Anyway, pint-sized bottles have already been prepared, and I'm looking at a picture here on the BBC News of pints of Prosecco. Maybe I can slightly understand the reason for buying a bottle of a pint of Prosecco, but can you imagine going into a pub and asking for a pint of Prosecco? It doesn't sound right. I mean, usually when men go to the pub, they don't drink wine anyway, they drink beer. Or, yeah, I want a pint of Guinness, please. Yeah, thank you very much. That's very typical in a kind of man's pub. I would think that men usually wouldn't be drinking wine, especially not around here. Maybe for women, but would they want to drink a pint of wine? Would that not be seen as rather uh, maybe something which is not elegant, perhaps? Maybe something not ladylike, would we say? I don't know, but it just sounds weird for me. A pint of wine. Can you imagine? Can I have a pint of Prosecco? I mean, in the pub at the moment, you can ask for a jug of wine or you can ask for a bottle of wine to be shared between two or three people. But I can't imagine anyone asking for a pint of wine individually. But it's coming very, very soon, and the bottles have already been prepared. This news story doesn't tell me exactly when it's going to be available, but it says it's part of some kind of Brexit review. And it says pint-sized bottles of still and sparkling wine are to appear on shelves in the UK. Yeah, but they've not given a date for that yet. And it says it will not introduce new rules on selling in imperial measures. We still use pints for a lot of things, you know. For example, a pint of milk. If we go to buy milk in the supermarket, I wouldn't know what a litre was, to be honest with you. I'd be looking for a pint of milk. If someone said to me, how much milk do you want in litres? I would say, what? Litres? Just give me a pint or 2 pints. I would have no idea. And even now, when people talk about liters and milliliters. I have no idea what they're talking about. It's strange, isn't it, how in Britain we have these different measurements. It's not just with pints, it's the same with shoe sizes. Shoe sizes in the UK, I think, begin at 4 and end in 14 or 15 for people with very large feet. It's the same with height. Height is measured in feet and inches. If you tell me in meters the height of someone, I wouldn't have the foggiest idea. The joy of being British, huh? Let's see. So, what else does it say here? Yeah, while sparkling wines will be allowed to be sold in 500 milliliter bottles, the new legislation will also allow wine to be sold in 200 milliliter containers. I have no idea what that is. I think I'd need someone to tell me what the conversion between a pint and a litre is. I wonder how they do it in the petrol filling garages. You know, the petrol stations, if you go to buy diesel or petrol, surely that must be in liters, in milliliters, maybe. No, it's not actually. It's gallons, isn't it, that they use here? Yeah, I'm glad I don't drive. Anyway, that's it from me today. So tomorrow I'll be back telling you a little bit more about speaking better. So just remember, today, just begin to notice how many spaces you use. And if you're using a lot of spaces, just try to replace them with a stretching of the word or simply with, for example, petrol is measured in gallons. Petrol petrol is measured in gallons, I believe. There we are. So you can hear little spaces, but try to cover them as much as you can with some fillers. That's it from me. See you. Bye.